It seems like everybody in the crypto space seems to be hunting in a little patch just now, looking for the next 100x or even 1000x token that they can invest in. But we should take a second to think back to when we first started investing in cryptocurrency and what we were expecting from this. Nobody invested a single dollar in and expected to get a $999 return on it. What we were more likely looking for at this time was maybe a 5 to 10x, and we were really quite reserved about this. So you probably also knew exactly what you wanted to do with the money. You'd probably planned where you were going to put it. So if this was paying off the finance on your car, buying a house, investing in a business you were growing, or whatever it was, you had a clear path and your brain was FOMO free. So what happened between then and now? We got caught up in the crypto hype and suddenly we're no longer satisfied with just doubling our money. We need the 100x. And this is exactly what can ruin the vast majority of us coming out of the bull run. So today we're going to go over the main things that we need to control within ourselves to make sure that we can be part of the 1% that come out on top during the bull market. Now, I'm going to ask everybody to please pay attention to what I'm about to say, because a lot of us, especially if you're newly investing into crypto and about to experience your first bull run, we're going to end up finding ourselves in this situation where we have started to invest as rational human beings with realistic expectations, and we're cool, calm and collected in what our plan is, and then suddenly we have had our first dopamine hit. Now, dopamine is basically a drug, really, isn't it? Technically it is a medical drug, but we're not talking about that. So that little happy feeling you get when you see your portfolio switch to green, that's literally the dopamine, which is a chemical in your brain, and it's released when you feel good. And when you feel good, you want to always feel that exact way. And this is how people get addicted to like junk food and sugar and things like that. A lot of the time, it's not the thing that you're doing that you're actually addicted to, it's the dopamine feeling that you're addicted to, and you end up chasing that constant high with it. So in crypto, how do we keep on chasing the dopamine hit? So this is by literally chasing highs, as in we're going to be chasing down the things that we believe are going to skyrocket so that we can get bigger and bigger returns on this. So basically we started off, we wanted a 2x and we got this, and now we want the 10x to continue that feeling, and then we want the 100x, and you can see where I'm going with it. Before you know it, you have completely lost sight of what your original goal was, and we're effectively chasing the impossible because you want the feel-good feeling to be released into your brain. So how can we overcome it or keep it under control? So we must set out goals, and I always bang on about this. I've done a few videos about it now, but we have to have goals. So I want everybody right now to grab something that you can write on and write down exactly what your goal for the next 18 months is in crypto. So preferably if you write it down somewhere you can see every day. So if you've got like a whiteboard or one of those fridges that you can write on or something, or even just stick it in the comments below, and we can help keep each other accountable throughout it. So I was going to share what my goals are for the bull run, but it's really lame and I'm not going to bore you with all of it. So we'll leave it at that. But maybe once I get a bit more ambitious, because most people, they want to hear about people who are going to be buying supercars and private jets and living in 30-bedroom mansions. But like, one of my goals is to pay off my mortgage and then move into an apartment with a balcony with a nice view over the city at night. So yeah, I'm quite a boring person to discuss goals with, but everyone's goals are individual. So whether they're huge or they're small, it's individual to what you want. So you should make sure that your goals are not too extreme though. So they have to be in line with what is actually achievable. So if you're investing, say 1k for example, we don't want to be setting our goal as owning a private jet in 18 months, because you don't want to be disheartened if you're then not jetting off privately to Dubai by next July. It doesn't make sense to make it so that it is completely unachievable. We want it to be a little bit out there, but not so out there that it's just impossible. So another thing that we should talk about is the crypto hype trains. So we're all guilty of it. And I remember when Pepe was launched and had become pretty much the talk of the entire world, I had to fight every degenerate bone in my body not to run onto Mexi and chuck my monthly wage on it. Now, I know that people made money on it, and they still are making money on it, but when I heard of it, it was probably sitting round about here-ish. It was on the uptrend anyway, so okay, I probably would have made money. But what then happens is we get up. So I invested, I didn't actually invest in it, but I heard about it here, and this is when I wanted to buy it. I then would have gone to here and would have 100% believed that this was going to keep on going up because it was the talk of the time. Everybody was talking about it. It was all over Twitter, it was all over Discord, it was everywhere. And what would have happened was I would have held it up and then come all the way back down. And because I've invested here, I end up like below where I initially invested. So I lose money on it. So I am pretty sure that I heard about it because of how much it increased and how quickly it increased. I can't remember exactly how I came to know about it, because it was I think it was like a year ago or something. But we do all have, the little degenerate in us that wants to buy. And it was the same with Bonk. So when I heard about this one, I think it was one of those weird articles that you get that like kind of pop up on Facebook and things like that. And it was telling you how somebody became a millionaire overnight with it. So again, when I heard of it, it was probably round about here-ish. So all this money has already been made. So the smart people were investing here. The people who know how to find the crazy ones before they go crazy probably invested it here, and they held it, and they probably sold here. I would have invested like here and held it and still believed that it was going to keep on going, because people are still talking about it now. And again, what would have happened? It comes down and I'm still holding, and then I'm below where I initially invested. So when you see the craziness ramping up, especially with meme coins that don't have any kind of real use case, then the train has already left the station. And this is not the movies where you can run and jump on it and be okay. You're going to fall off and you're going to lose on that one. So we also need to bear in mind as well that the craziest of the crazy tokens probably haven't even been launched yet. So these usually come pretty much during the bull run, and I was taking a look at a few of the craziest, and here we go. So I was looking for obviously the craziest meme coins that are, and there was literally one called Kanye. And the worst part about this is I laugh at this and I was like, yeah, that's probably something I would have invested in. It was in 2014 actually. And I think they got sued into oblivion. But these are the types of ones that come out. The Whopper coin, Uno Botanium is another one. So the really, really crazy ones, they tend to come out right in the peak of the bull market, or when we're ramping up to the peak. So you get the drift with that one. Do not jump on whatever the craziest, most out there trend is, because you're probably going to get wrecked unless you are super, super lucky, which I am not. So how do we overcome the degeneracy? So this is one that's honestly just to do with your mindset and rational thinking. So keeping in mind at all times, if you are seeing it being spoken about everywhere and it's popping up on the random social media ads, you probably want to be avoiding it like the plague. So the last and most common one to get us all ruined is our own confirmation bias. Now, this is something that I try very, very hard to avoid. So I always try and talk about the pros and cons of projects, even the ones that I absolutely love, like ICP, HBAR, Solana, all of these ones. I have made a big effort to avoid bias, but confirmation bias is pretty much when you are invested in a coin and you make a little bit of money on it. So say you've made a 10x on it, then you jump onto YouTube or Twitter or Discord and you're looking for something, absolutely anything, to confirm that you should be holding out for the 20x or the 50x on it. So with Pepe, for example, if you're holding Pepe and you've made a little bit of a chunk on it, now you want to know how much more you can make. You want to know how far this coin is going to go. So this is what we get. So if you're searching for this on YouTube, for example, so if you search Pepe price prediction, because this is the coin that you're investing in, this is the one that you want to know about, this is what you get. So you get a 444x or Pepe Millionaire, and this one is plus 7 million%. So you spend a few hours watching these and you're sold. You know, yep, I was definitely right to buy it. You have the confirmation of the strangers that you had never met on the internet to tell you that you're going to make an absolute boatload of cash. So now you're going to hold it for that 7 million% increase. You're probably not going to hold it for 7 million%, but you know what I mean. You're looking for anything to say that you are right to keep on holding on to this. Now, it is super easy to sit here and talk about it and think that's not me. I have my profit taking strategy set out in stone. I know when I'm going to take profit. But it's kind of like what I spoke about yesterday with Steppen and GMT token. So I'd spent around 2 hours thinking that this was a great token. It'd be really fun. It'd be cool to talk about it. It was something that I was interested in. And when I actually started trying to find out about why the coin was down over 50% for a whole year, it was quite difficult to find out exactly what was going on, because nobody wants to search for the bad news. And I stumbled across a YouTube video by chance of a girl who had been using it. She had been investing in it. She loved it. And then eventually it died down and she ended up not liking it. She thinks the project's dead. And even then I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, that wasn't what I wanted to hear. And this is a coin that I had never heard of before. I'd never heard of before yesterday. So imagine if you've been holding the coin for say 14, 15 months and we're peak in the bull run. You're not going to want to hear the news that the bear market is going to start rolling in and your favorite coin is going to go back down again. You're going to be looking for the confirmation that your coin that you've had the faith in all of this time, you've showed your loyalty to it and held it completely, and it's going to do another 10x and then another one and then another one. This is what you want to hear, that it is never ever going to go down again. So in order to kind of try and combat your own bias, you have to stick religiously to your profit taking strategy. So we had done a video on it before about how to plan your profit strategy. You need to write it down. You need to embed fed it into your brain, and you have to stick to it no matter what, no matter how you're feeling at the time, no matter if you have a 10x and that's where you plan to start taking out profits. If you think it's going to do another 100x, you still have to take the profits that you set yourself a target of. Because trust me, in the peak of the bull run when everything is going absolutely insane, you will never be as rational as what you are right now. So overall, when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency, the most important thing that you can do for yourself is to absolutely cut out all of the noise around you. At the end of the day, it is your money that you are investing in, that you are risking here. It is not your favourite influencer who's going to be affected because you believed them when they promised you a 100x return on a coin. I want to really stress as well that when the bull market hits, everything is going to go crazy, including you. Money does something to people where they lose their minds a little bit when it comes to it, and I've seen it happen so many times. So at one point or another, we're going to have to keep ourselves in check when it comes to this. If you find yourself staring at your computer screen, you've got crypto.com open, your bank card is in your hand, and you are scouring for something to buy, you need to go and take a nap, or go and get some food, or go and do something, anything at all that takes you away from the screen and whatever you've got yourself immersed into with it. It's okay to lose your mind a little bit during the madness. It is expected. But if it's going to lose you money as well, that's when we need to try and combat that. We all need to take a deep breath. Remember the goals that we have, and remember to make sure that we are going to come out on the top. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.